Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Metal video. In this video we'll be taking a look at how to complete the Super Class Challenge for the Divine Wrath stage. So this is stage 8 of the Mortal Will or Divine Wrath Mortal Will event, and this mission requires you to have one Super AGL, one Super TEQ, one Super Int, one Super Strength, and one super physical unit in your team. So you need to have one of each typing. It's not too bad. I think overall it's really not too bad. One nice thing about the Zamasu stage, so stage 8 comparative to stage 9, Zamasu is one typing. So whereas Trunks changes from int to physical type and you have to build your team around that due to how tanky he gets, Zamasu is always tech type, and this does make planning a bit easier. You have strong units like Int Trunks who are very solid and able to pull their weight as a free-to-play unit, and just you could kind of prioritize an Int build. However, with this specific challenge you can't do that because you have to have one of each type. So it is a little bit of a hindrance slash difference in team design, and obviously it can give you a little bit of a headache, but not to fear, you should be more than fine. Realistically speaking, it all works out pretty good. The team build that we're going for is kind of a soft adaptation of my Entrusted Will team, and so you should see quite a few similarities between that team and mine. Just basically kind of slotted out one or two units to make things a bit more malleable. Now the team build itself is fairly simple. We have a couple free-to-play units, and then we also obviously have some of the recent summonable units that have their easy A's. I've avoided using units like physical Trunks, for example, and obviously Strength Future Gohan. Tried to avoid using the like AGL Blue Boys if possible, and just in general, kind of gone for really decent accessible options, more general pool banner options. But you're going to need to probably flexi the team as best you can. Future Saga feels like a team that's got one or two options on each slot, except for physical. Physical feels kind of the odd one out again. So yeah. Now in terms of this team, so we've got the strength, or we've got the tech Trunks. We also have the strength Trunks, and we also have the int Trunks. So quite a few Trunkses all flying around. I think explaining them is a bit easier. So Strength Trunks is 40% damage reduction. He gets 10% after receiving a sixth attack in battle. He stacks defense over 6 turns. And just in general, a very strong unit. Very solid defensively. Especially good in situations against Future Saga enemies, as he gains another buff in his passive. Next we have the Int Free-to-Play Trunks. Also an incredibly solid unit. Domain effect we pop immediately for the first 4 turns. Gives the rest of our team a nice flat little buff, and himself, he's pretty solid. Obviously, much better with Future Saga category allies in our rotation, which isn't a problem on this team. And in general, he doesn't take too long to build up, and he gets benefits against Future Saga enemies, and he is type advantage, so very good for him. We then have Tech Trunks, who's going to be stacking and building up. Generally speaking, would obviously prefer to keep him in the second slot so he builds up a bit faster, but because of items and because we are going to need to kind of flexi pick our team, we are going to be placing him in the third slot. Specifically in this event, the Int Free-to-Play Trunks has a lot of value due to the domain skill and due to the fact that he's quite reliable in terms of type advantage. Then in terms of friend lead, we've gone with the Strength Future Gohan. No surprises here, but he's an incredibly powerful unit. Not only is he a flat 200% lead for a lot of our team, but he is also, of course, an incredibly powerful unit that does a lot of damage when he gets to turn 5. So his domain kicks in turn 5, and Trunks' domain will end around turn 4. And so you end up with a nice window of constantly having a domain up pretty much, which is pretty cool. So yeah, big stuff from that perspective of the equation. On the AGL side, we're using the trunks and my. So the AGL trunks and my pretty solid as well. Obviously for them, flat 30% damage reduction when they are alongside other Future Saga category allies in the same turn, which makes sense, and gives them quite a solid depth to their defense. Of course, if they take a super attack without an item active, they are going to die. Now, Zamasu hits a 2 million super attack, multiply that by the modifier, and they're going to take a lot of damage. So it's not really something you want them to do, but yeah, you can't change it, basically. You need to be super careful. You can see there, very unlucky situation, but yeah, it is what it is. Basically, you're gonna take super attacks on units you don't really want to, but it will work out in the end, no problem. So yeah, outside of that, basically all pretty solid stuff, I would say, at least from my perspective. When we talk about like super duper important units, I think it is important to understand that there is obviously a spectrum of usability, and I think Future Saga is one of those teams that does just have really, really good flexi picks. It's just got really, really good team and team functionality. Yeah, our final pick is obviously Physical Gowasu Zamasu, also a great unit, also really good at just kind of facilitating the rest of the team. So, just fantastic as well. It's all comes together nicely, but it may be difficult to obtain. I think the hardest one is Physical. Now, you can replace them depending on your lead. So if you're looking to replace the Physical unit, it's going to depend on your lead. I think for me, other good secondary leads are things like the Hybrid Sands, Gohan, and things like that. I think you need to have a good roster of selections, more so than just one singular strong team. But that's it. That is basically everything you need to know. Let me know how you feel. Give me a shout in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.